Welcome to Westbury Analytics Radio, where ServiceNow performance analytics for senior executives comes alive. Experienced ServiceNow architects, performance management experts, and other executives in your field share insights for how to drive performance management using the power of ServiceNow performance analytics. Performance analytics is a game changer, but it requires a different way of thinking than how most people think about reporting and performance measurement. Our goal here is to help you develop that new way of thinking. I am your host, Pedro Soto. Today, Nathan Firth, president and founder of NewRocket, joins us to share his insights about how companies can create extraordinary experiences on ServiceNow for employees and customers via their service portal. We also talk about the role that performance analytics plays in that quest.
Hello, everybody. This is Pedro Soto bidding another warm welcome to our listeners for this episode of Westbury Analytics Talk Radio. I'm joined today by Nathan Firth, president and principal engineer of NewRocket. Nathan's trajectory in the ServiceNow world is all about the user experience, and his company is devoted to building portals that create extraordinary experiences on ServiceNow. Today, we're going to talk about experience, which is a topic that is driving technology decisions more and more often. But first, let's hear from Nathan about his background and how it all got started at NewRocket. So Nathan, thanks for taking time from your schedule. Please get us started by telling our listeners a little bit about you and NewRocket.
Yeah, thanks for on the show. Yeah, so I've been in the ServiceNow ecosystem for about 10 years. I got started working for a ServiceNow customer where I became acquainted with the platform and had the opportunity to kind of play around and get to know, some of its capabilities early on. And then I joined ServiceNow when they were a much smaller organization, originally January 2012, where I worked on the UI team and had the opportunity to start playing around with CMS, learning, how we could build custom applications and portals on top of the platform. Left ServiceNow, bounced around the partner ecosystem for a little bit, before back to ServiceNow, where I joined Fred Luddy, the founder of Service, to architect and develop what is today the service portal. And so that was kind of my that's been a lot of what I did at ServiceNow, is really focused on UI, and obviously building out service portal was a huge achievement that I had while I was able to be part of when I worked at ServiceNow. And right when service portal was about to come out, I kind of saw the opportunity that, I wanted to be on the development side and implementation side of the portal rather than, fixing defects and maintaining a product. So with that, I joined up with my partner, Todd Basher, and we founded NewRocket as the employee experience company that focuses exclusively on ServiceNow.
That's quite a trajectory. So the employee experience company, very cool. Now, what are some of the biggest decision drivers that lead ServiceNow clients to overhaul their service portal and rely on a company like NewRocket to help them?
Yeah, that's a great question. For us, what we see is, a lot of the organizations have made a huge investment into ServiceNow, but if they're not able to improve the experience and really drive self-service, then you're going to have a hard time driving user adoption. In a lot of organizations, employees are very accustomed to walking up to the help desk, picking up the phone, sending emails, and bypassing the portal. So a lot of what we do is working with organizations, helping to build a portal where it actually becomes we're lowering the barrier to entry. We're making it easier for them to go to the portal than for them to have to walk up to the help desk. So we're focusing on experience, user adoption, making the usability, be a very intuitive experience, and information that can be ServiceNow. For a lot of common requests, you can actually deliver it much faster by leveraging the service portal and thereby providing a far superior user experience through the portal than what they would get through all the other means. And so, from an organizational standpoint, it reduces costs. and it improves the overall employee experience.
Cool. So this is really fascinating because you're the first of the three. So that the next two folks I'm going to interview, they're all about user experience. And I didn't set out on purpose to do that. It just sort of fell into place. So this whole thing of experience is really, really growing in interest. You may have heard of experience level agreements. Have you?
Yeah. Yeah.
What have you observed about this trend? Actually, just not just talking about it in terms of soft terms, but actually, experience level agreements, the signs of experience, this whole thing. What have you observed?
Yeah, so I mean, being able to track, the user experience is something that's very important. And, so a lot of the and the work that we do with our clients is understanding who users are, why are they coming to the portal, what are the various types of personas, and how can we enable them to find what they're looking for quicker and easier. So a lot of this is done, by us initially, through user research, focus groups, taking a look at all of the various tools that are available, anything from Google Analytics, conducting heat map studies, we'll use, user surveys, but also once we, develop the portal, a lot of that research can happen again to see the metrics and see how we've improved the overall experience. And with a lot of the portal develop, we're also incorporating, user surveys, customer satisfaction surveys, feedback forms, and also enabling chat. So even throughout that experience, we're always able to get feedback and kind of see, whether they're finding what they're looking for. And because I feel like it's so much more than, did they find what they were looking for? Were they able to click the button and was the service delivered on time? Because all of those can be true, but the overall user experience was still poor. And so that's where, being able to gather information throughout that process and post the request, and once it's been fulfilled, being able to, actually track metrics against that to see, not just did we deliver on time, but, how was the experience for the user?
Got it. Fascinating. So I have a thesis and I share it with everyone I speak to, and I invite them to give their opinion on it. You don't have to agree with it. I honestly, if you disagree with it, I want you to share that and expand on it for the benefit of our viewers. But here's what it is. So you have ServiceNow, which is a platform that truly is an advancement over all the other platforms that used to be there before, HP Service Manager, Remedy, all these other platforms. And it's no secret that it's so good that, just huge shares of the market are dropping these other platforms and coming over to ServiceNow. My thesis is the following. The moment you make the switch, you go from some other previous platform to ServiceNow, you immediately get a benefit. Better process, you start reducing costs, you start having the ability to perform things faster. And that gives you a real benefit in all these terms. But it's probably a 12 to 18 month benefit. And from there on, it's work to actually continue deriving benefit from the platform. One of the things that you mentioned is if they make this huge investment, but they don't work on the experience and they don't drive self-service, the returns are going to decline over time, correct?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
What other areas do you see where executives need to focus on to continue extracting more benefit from that huge investment that it is to bring on ServiceNow in their environment?
Yeah, so I think initially when Service Portal first came out, the kind of initial focus was, well, let's go live with our IT portal. But I think as not just IT leaders, but as leaders within an organization, you need to step in and think much bigger picture. It's not just a IT or even the HR portal. It's a much more holistic approach around digital workplace experience. And, I think that includes, building out a strategy for how you're going to incorporate all of the departments. It's not just IT and HR, it's facilities, it's procurement, it's security, and creating a single destination where employees know that they can go across all of the departments. But it's not just even around service management. I think you also need to think, corporate communications, having a mobile strategy for how users can and how your employees engage with these services and information, from a mobile device. So I think it's a much broader topic than just thinking about, our IT service portal. We're a lot of the clients that we're working with today, we're doing, everything from SharePoint replacements, intranets that have, blogging capabilities, staff directories, location directories. So it's, I see where we're going and where a lot of organizations, it's taking a step back and thinking about the broader digital workplace experience and what that is going to look like.
Excellent. And from your experience, because you're interacting, I think you shared with me you've done over 70 or 75 projects already, service portals?
Yeah, we've completed a little over 70 portals. And, I think even right now we have, I think like 14, 15 projects in the works. So we're
Wow.
constantly evolving and, seeing, where can the portals go next? What are the next set of features? How can we, broaden the scope of our services? And so for us specifically, mobile has been, kind of focused lately.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's a lot of projects. Gives you quite a view and insights into the world of ServiceNow and how clients are evolving with it. What have you seen, your experience, in terms of clients, ServiceNow users leveraging analytics and reporting? So I know that, for instance, you do a lot of that when you come in and start a project. But what have you observed from the moment you come in and then when you leave, in terms of clients and their ability to leverage analytics for your project, but also beyond that?
Yeah, so I feel like, especially on the user experience side, you do a lot of that research up front and you put out a poll, and initially you're going to, maybe hit some of that low hanging fruit where you get a bunch of quick wins. But what happens is there's still going to be other areas where there's still pain points, where there's maybe edge cases that haven't accounted for still, where users are still getting frustrated. They're not finding what they're looking for. And having access to ongoing analytics, that's what's going to allow you to continually refine and continue have that improvement. Because the portal is never about, you build it once and you put it in place and then, there you go. Because there's always, going to be areas for improvement. And so having access to those analytics, that's what enables you to, we solved these problems. Now customers are happier, but there's still these other areas where, users can't find what they're looking for. And so, having continuous improvement in analytics to be able to those as metrics is very, very important.
Excellent. From everything that you've experienced and from when you started this, what are some things that you discovered that have surprised you about how business leaders make decisions related to user experience?
Yeah, it's, I find that we see a lot of, there's this tension that we've noticed where there is the organizational goals, which might be, reduce incidents as an example, but then there's what the users are looking for. And, we found that you have to kind of approach the user experience from both sides. It's not just about what the organization is trying to accomplish, which to reduce incidents, reduce costs. But as soon as you take a look at the employee experience, what the users are coming to the portal for, we find that, you have to approach it from both standpoints and try to find that middle ground where you're not just thinking about the portal from the organizational standpoint, from how IT thinks about things. In IT, everything's an incident, it's a request, to an end user, it's just a ticket. They don't care which department, they don't care which table it lives in. And so it's, it's finding how we can design that experience that accomplishes the goals from both sides of the equation.
Got it. Excellent. And from, again, your unique vantage point, what do you see on the horizon that business leaders should pay more attention to than they're currently doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think ServiceNow is going to continue to make huge investments in user experience and in UI. And, ServiceNow is also out with many new modules and plugins, so even, taking a look at things like the Employee Service Center and all of the new content delivery capabilities that have shipped with HR. And, so as a leader within your organization, I think it's really important to be able to take a look at all of the tools that are coming in from ServiceNow and all advancements that they are making, and making sure that you have a strategy for what that's going to look like within your organizations beyond just thinking of the individual silos, of IT, HR, procurement.
Excellent. Cool. Hey, Nathan, it's been a great opportunity to chat. You've really given us some really interesting insights. Appreciate you making time to share with us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about anything exciting going on over at NewRocket that our listeners who might have some interest should sort of take the initiative and reach out to you? And where would they where would be the best place to reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I mentioned, mobile has kind of been a new area for us, but the way we think about user experience and how we think about what we do is, we're looking for areas where maybe there isn't an immediate solution yet. So we've found a lot of very specific kind of I don't want to call them edge cases, but we found a lot of big markets within the ServiceNow ecosystem there's no clear solution for yet. So, a lot of what we're looking at is, focusing on local governments, municipalities, taking a look at how we can improve the student experience, within higher education. And we're also looking, specifically into healthcare and how we can utilize mobile to improve the day-to-day operations of doctors and faculties at, hospitals. So there's lots of these kind of specific segments where we find that there's an amazing opportunity for improving the user experience. And so that's a lot of what we're focusing on right now. And like I mentioned, and figuring out what that looks like from not just a portal standpoint, but also from a mobile standpoint. So this is what we're doing, but a lot of what we're doing, you can find on social media, on LinkedIn. We're active on most social media forms, and then obviously on our website, newrocket.com, and on our blog, where I post a lot of tidbits, a lot of tutorial widgets, things like that on serviceportal.io.
Okay, great. So what I'm hearing is if you're a doctor, you're a faculty member, you're somewhere in the local government, state government, very much of a niche player, these folks might really behoove them to reach out to you, because you, based on your experience and what you're aspiring to, you might come up with some really very fascinating and interesting solutions for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when we take a look at most ServiceNow customers, there's a lot of commonality, across customers as far as, how they display things in the portal. A lot of it is coming from catalog and knowledge. But as you take a look at some of the more specific market segments, and specific verticals like higher education and healthcare, you start to notice that in some of these areas there's going to be very specific requirements and needs that are specific to those verticals, and that's where we're able to come out with very specific solutions that really help to improve the user experience in those areas.
All right, excellent. Well, Nathan, that's, wanted to keep it brief for everyone's sake, yours, mine, and our listeners. So if there's anything else you want to part with, we could call it a day here.
Thank you so much, Pedro, for having me on the show. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks, Nathan. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. Till next time.
We see a time when all business leaders using ServiceNow Performance Analytics will easily know how to leverage its power to help them reach their business goals. Performance Analytics offers you a way to do that. To discover how you can get there faster, send us an email to info@westburyanalytics.com.